Okay, here we are. What an exciting
Wow.
moment. I know. I can't believe that we're just like, okay, it's all coming to this moment. This is where it starts, Carolyn. Hello, everyone. I'm Lisa Jane, and we just have something so exciting to do. You can tell we're just like two little girls here, just like bouncing out of our skin. I would love to introduce you to the beautiful Carolyn Murphy-Bennis from Dublin, Ireland. And I met Carolyn not very long ago, actually, probably about a month before Christmas. And we just, you meet these people in life and it's like you've known them for eternity. Carolyn was one of those people for me, but it was so clear to us at the very get-go that we had a job to do together on this planet. And it was just like, as soon as we started talking, we knew exactly what that was. And the whole thing has just unfolded with this incredible clarity and like speed. And like, it's actually even shocked us a little bit. And Carolyn, like, wow, this information and these things that are just the creative force that's coming out of our connection has just been so incredibly awesome, like actually filling me with awe. And from working with Carolyn, and I can't wait for you to know her, she is so wise, and this beautiful, soft, gentle, grounded Mother Earth energy that it has just been such a joy to have a relationship with her and to work with her and to be talking to her, because these gems of wisdom but just the way that this beautiful Irish brogue, this just beautiful warm feeling that I get when I work with Carolyn. So everybody meet Carolyn Murphy-Bennis.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here and to be working in collaboration with the lovely Lisa. And talk about an absolute dream duo that we're creating here, the Diamond Dream Duo. We have just come together and it's just been miraculous. It's just been, just a magical experience, really, because I think, it feels like, one of those moments when it's kind of life-changing, really, that all of your, I was thinking today, actually, that like I feel that all of my talents and all of my expertise and all of my life experience are coming to play into this new venture that we're birthing together and we're designing, and it's been actually designed through us. Absolutely, it's inspired and it's unique to the world, and we are here to serve the women of the world. And we really are so passionate and about empowering women and giving them their power back. And even more than that, we want them to have the force, their feminine force, and to bring that to the world, to transform their lives and their daughters' lives and transform the planet for this new age that we're moving towards. And Lisa is just the most amazing, partner in this, venture, because she is just like a lighthouse. She's just emanates that divine wisdom and just illuminates the room, as you can see even on screen here tonight. So I'm just absolutely thrilled to be working with her and all her wisdom and life experience. So would you like to tell people, Lisa, what we're actually talking about and what we're actually bringing to the ladies listening?
I'd love to do that. So we've just been, we're like these two little toilers. We meet every night. Like Carolyn's in Dublin and I'm in Sydney. So it's actually my night and her morning. And we've sort of had to navigate the time zones, which has been an interesting challenge, but we've done it very well because we've figured out that we can work 24 hours a day, which is pretty impressive, right? So, and I think that gives us a bit of an advantage. So
absolutely.
Oh, doesn't it? So, and it's great because I wake up and I can see all these amazing things that she's done. It's like, so we've been working on a webinar series, The Birthing of the Diamond Mother. And this has come from our hearts because both of us are mothers of teenage daughters. Both of us know with, personal experience what is going on out there in the world and the influences on our daughters. And we talk to mums. I work with mums, so I know the extreme pressure that mums are under today. And it's been my passion to be working with mums about daughters. And Carolyn comes in from a slightly different angle. She's very interested in conscious design. And that leads beautifully into this, because this is all about designing a new way of mothering.
Mhm.
And I think that for me, that's what it's about. It's almost like, and I've always had this feeling like when I was frustrated with my kids, because I have 3 older kids as well, and those feelings of powerlessness and trying to fix things and not being able to find the solutions, and you're looking all the time for something, because I'm an avid researcher. So I would always be looking for the next right thing, from star charts to neuropsychological services, whatever it was, I would be there trying to figure out what the hell I could do about this problem that I had. And it never seemed to work long term. I still had these same repetitive feelings. And the funny thing was that I always sensed there was a better way. It was like I could feel this. There's got to be something better. I could feel it. And that compelled me to keep searching, but I never found it. And I know why I didn't find it. And that was my journey, to actually find it, apply it, and live it. And I think, Carolyn, I'd love for you to jump in here, because I think it's a similar journey to you. Like, you've lived this as well, and you had that same feeling. So, take over.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing actually to listen to you, because we're different and we're very alike. Because I suppose we live in different hemispheres. I'm in the northern hemisphere, you're in the southern hemisphere, different climates, but definitely I think we had that same calling, and it's kind of around the same kind of time frame. I suppose about 7 years ago, I was, just turned 40, and I'm a professional graphic designer. I've worked in branding in top brands for, global brands for 25 years. I own my own company and with my husband called Bennis Design. But I had this kind of heart awakening where I had a calling after working in academia. I was after moving into lecturing design, and I actually wrote the only design thinking module for a 3-year honor degree course in design communications in Ireland. So it was a new, unique course. And I started lecturing and I designed principles, but then I started to kind of called back into nature and back into retreat. So I went back into retreat and I bought this cottage in the west of Ireland and went away from the busyness of the life that, I thought the hecticness and the kind of noise and, all these messaging and this, it kind of became, especially I felt responsible for, maybe adding to that, because I was a branding and working in corporate, that, how was I responsible for these negative messaging that were influencing our children in, and creating this unconscious culture that was actually damaging their self-esteem, damaging the identities that they had about themselves, and damaging their mental health and their emotional health, and, really disconnecting themselves from themselves. So I kind of, it had a huge kind of effect on me. So I started to kind of try to take that, problem solving, I suppose, capacity that I have, and to that large, global problem. So I really took time in my spare time to go into the cottage and to go into that introspection where I kind of found first of all, the truth of myself, the truth of my own being and who I was, and in my own heart of hearts, and what the conditioning that had actually changed my perspective on life as such, and I kind of came into my own truth, and that started to kind of shine in my life, and I started to change and transform all my relationships because of that as a catalyst. So I redesigned my life from the inside out. I took my design skills into the interior world, and I beautified it from the interior, and then I beautified it on the exterior. And then I decided in May 2000, well, in 2020, I actually launched, I started writing, and I've written a few books since then that were all about that. The Rainbow Warrior was the first one for children. Then it was the Declare Public a Free State of Mind. And in May of last year, I launched a new company that was basically all around that, called Flourish by Design, which looks at design, conscious branding design, and wellness. So how we can bridge the gap between wellness, well-being, and business, conscious business. So how can we redesign our life from the inside out, so into our relationships, and then into the business world, and into creating this conscious culture, so that it's a holistic understanding of life that's going to improve our lives and our wellness in our own family dynamic, and then in the world at large, because there's no two, it's all one. It's non-dual thinking is really what I've moved into then, from design thinking into teaching that transformation, non-dual thinking. So that's what I bring to the dynamic that we're creating here with Lisa and myself.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. And it's interesting because when you were sharing about your heart awakening, I was really reflecting on mine. And, I don't know why I hadn't put this together before, but it was probably about 7 years ago that I had an experience which was the actual physical experience of my heart awakening. Like, I felt it happen one day on a walk. Rather than it being quite a sudden thing, it was almost like, and I think this is so much about, this is what my journey has been like, probably from like all the way along, very gradual. Like, although I had a very spiritual, you would call it, experience when I was 37, which sort of really sort of woke me up, I would say that my journey has been very gradual all the time. And like, I hear about a lot of people that, like, just they get it, they wake up, everything changes and transforms. My journey hasn't been like that. My journey has been quite a gradual journey. And even though from very, very young, I've always been interested in emotion and interested in personal growth and coming into my own personal power. It's always been a journey that I've been on. But interestingly, I didn't realize how much I was missing the mark until I was 37. So the journey up to 37 was a lot of self-development, but it was all head-based. And I think this is the difference of where we're going now as mothers. We've been in I'm speaking for myself, my experience, and just from mothers that I've observed, we have been in a world where we've been trained to get more skills, to upgrade our style, to get better, to learn more stuff. But I don't know about you, I actually haven't seen that working anymore. I think there's only so much we can do. And when we are faced with the cultural influences that we have now, we need something different. We can't just have more skills, because more skills is not going to help us with that. Yeah. And so this is where, what you're saying, Carolyn, about this heart opening, it's coming into this deep feminine wisdom, which we all have, because we are women, because we have this creative force, we have this. It's intuitive. It is knowing. Those times that you just don't know what to do, and you're looking at your daughter and you're just like, what can I do? And you feel so scared, because it's like you're watching this train flying along towards a derailed track, and you've just like, and you just don't know what to do. And that moment is when your feminine force is ready to be just activated, and we can sit in that, and we can know what to do, and we can feel calm, and we can feel strong and powerful. And so for me, that journey once again started around 7 years ago, when my heart opened, and my emotional journey from then was this knowing of how to integrate all of me in this moment. So rather than resisting the parts of me that were feeling things because I didn't want to feel them, or I wanted to deny them or suppress them, or I didn't know what to do with them, I actually brought them into my life, and I used them to grow, but I also came to see them as part of the process and the opportunity. Yeah. And that placed me in a completely different situation. So I came to know myself better. I came to know how to use the emotion, because emotion has power, right? When you actually understand it, you can use its power in that moment to feel more empowered. Yeah. So I started to do those things. And that was a journey which I was actually a teacher. I was teaching children that couldn't fit into mainstream around that time. And I started to implement a lot of the things I was learning just to support them emotionally. And sort of, I would be there with them, supposedly having to teach them stuff, but I just sort of go, actually, it's more important that I just sit and listen to you and hear you. And I luckily had the opportunity to do that. And that was transformational. Kids actually learned a lot more once they had their emotions heard and they could process that, like it was amazing. So for me, starting with that journey, applying it to my own children. So I was blessed to have I've had 2 relationships, and one I had 3 older children with, and I have a younger daughter who's now 15. And I could actually apply all this to my second daughter. So I've parented, you could say, or mothered in 2 different paradigms.
Yeah.
And that has given me the most incredible insights and learning, So that's another experience that I've had. And then, I've worked with a lot of women. And like I've mentioned to you, Carolyn, having the experience of working with women one-on-one and seeing, a lot of women, late 30s, 40s, 50s, are going through these experiences where they really want help with their emotional world. And it really hit me that if we actually taught emotional empowerment and how to find this place in ourselves and find our own design early on, like as teenagers, there wouldn't be so many women that are getting to a stage and they're going, I just can't do my life anymore, or I just can't cope with this, or this relationship is so dysfunctional. So for me, my passion is, how amazing would it be if mums had the tools to be teaching this to their girls as they're growing up, but not necessarily teaching it, because this isn't information that you teach so much as you embody it. And when you embody it, it becomes the relationship that you have with your daughter. So she naturally learns how to speak her truth. She naturally learns how to make really empowered choices. And you're modeling all the time this relationship. And it's not even a dynamic, because a dynamic sort of implies it's a bit of a loop, but you're modeling all the time this new form of relationship process, which empowers both of you, and you both really get to enjoy the relationship and the journey you have, which is the saddest part, don't you think, Carolyn? Like, here we are as mothers and daughters, and the majority of time, a lot of mums are just feeling like, they love their daughter, but there are times that they just don't like them. Or the stress of it is just making their life and their relationship just no fun at all. And that's, we can do better than that, surely.
Yeah, and I think it's just about that kind of, we've lived in our own lives, what we've revealed in ourselves is that, I suppose we are moving into this new paradigm of kind of understanding, our emotions, and understanding, that being educated in that. And we both have kind of, I suppose, that academic kind of mind, problem solving kind of capabilities that kind of have gone into so much kind of detail and precision to really kind of bring a webinar series that can speak kind of practically around these kind of problems as such. Because being a graphic designer, I'm creative, but I'm also very logical. So I like things to be grounded and doable. And, it's a beautiful process. It's an integrating of it. Really, the calling, when you were speaking, I was thinking is, the emotion that drew me into that retreat was love. It was a deep compassion for not just my own family and my own process of life, but what was happening all around me, because especially on the transition period from the preteen through the teens into womanhood, that it should be a beautiful process of like a flower, coming from bud, blossom and flourishing into the world the way they should, naturally, because it's organic. And the only thing that really is the problem, as we think, it's really just our conditioning. Because if we were to let that naturally happen, and just to create the atmosphere of love and nurturing and safety and a safe space for that beauty of the feminine force within our teenage daughters to just be revealed, that's all that we need to do. It's not, a hard process. The only process is the kind of learning our emotions and embracing our emotions and welcoming in our emotions and taking responsibility for our emotions. Would you agree?
That's true. I like that. 2 things that I think is really important for me to highlight from what you said then is that it is natural. So people have said to me, oh, there's effort. Well, do you know what? When you learn anything, you've got to put effort in. But how free do you want to be? You know, if you want to keep living the life you've got, then don't put the effort in. But if you really want to change, if you really want to experience a better quality of life, then you commit to something. You commit to doing little things every day. It's really not that hard. It's just doing little things every day and holding yourself responsible emotionally. The thing is, though, because it is your natural way, it becomes natural. It actually is our natural way. So all of nature, the life force of Mother Nature is behind us because it is our natural way. So we have all of this support to live like this because it's how we should be living naturally. And so really it becomes so easy and so joyful because it's part of who we are. It's living who we really are, you know, as human beings on this planet, which brings me to the second point I'd like to amplify. For so long, I heard so much information about, you know, living in your heart and, you know, these concepts of what you need to do when you're a mother. And, you know, I just want to say this is so practical because unless you, like, you can't live in your heart unless you know how to live in your heart. I mean, what does it mean to say that and to have lip service? What does it really mean? And for me, that was a physical experience. It wasn't a concept. Like I heard about it, but it wasn't until I had the physical experience, until every day I started to live love in action, that it had meaning to me. And it actually made a difference in my life. Just knowing it is not enough. Like knowing it. It's our capacity to be able to live this state of being in our relationship when we're in the kitchen with the screaming kids, all the high pressure, all the business, or the partner that disagrees with us over what we're doing with our daughter. In those moments, that's where our power can be when we step into it. And it's the practical ways of being able to bring this into our lives and live it in our everyday life, not just when we're on holidays, not just when we're on a retreat. And I think you said that, Carolyn. It's like we have to make this real for us. It has to be applicable. It has to be actionable. We have to know these things, find these things out, and be able to go away and actually apply them in our lives to make a difference. Otherwise, well, why are we here?
Yeah, you know, so and it works, Lisa, doesn't it?
It does.
It does work. I mean, and I'll tell you why I know it works is because when I see the kind of sparkle in my kids' eyes, you know, when I started, you know, to change my way of mothering, I just, you know, with this conscious mothering, this kind of beautiful kind of way of connecting to myself and taking ownership and you know, learning to live from my feminine force and learning to embrace that and bring the kind of softness forward in a kind of in a very connected, heartfelt way that I really and wasn't, you know, it's funny because there's so many books I had, you know, like you get everybody passes these books around trying kind of in the fog, trying to work out what are we doing wrong. You know, there's so many talks, like even when my kids were in primary school here, you know, we went to an Educate Together school and it was a really fabulous community of mums and everybody was, you know, we had the craft group and the book club and the you know, the bazaar every year, and we were all kind of trying to do our best. But then it got to when the kids were like 9, 10, and things started to change, and you could see things getting a bit rocky, and it was like all the skills and all the things we used to do were kind of starting to break apart. And then the outside influence was starting to come in, society was starting to come on, and this beautiful bubble that we had created around the school and the friends and the mums and, you know, all this love and just, you know, connection and safety was starting to actually be, you know, the cracks were coming, and the societal influence was starting to permeate into them. And we knew that as they go to secondary school, that, you know, that safe bubble that we had created was no more, and you know, that they were now going to go into this new world that was actually alien, not just to the children but to us as well, that we actually didn't know anything about. Technology, you know, the fast pace of life, the new, you know, even, you know, the jobs that are kind of global, and then now I suppose we have more challenges because of COVID, and it's a global, we're kind of united in that no matter where you live in the world, we're all dealing with this one united problem of how do we educate our kids in this new world that we're actually going into, that we even don't know what it's going to look like yet. So there's huge, massive challenges for the child and the parent. It's a transformational stage, but it's also an opportunity for something beautiful and something really even like an upgrade to happen. It's like when you get your iPhone and you have this operating system and you're really used to it and you know what your way around it, but then you're told it's an upgrade and you're kind of a little bit, oh, not too sure about that, I'm happy the way I have it, I don't really like those apps. And then when you get the upgrade, you go, wow, that's amazing. My life is totally brilliant. And it's so there's always that fear. There's that fear factor of kind of committing to something that you're not really sure about. So that's why we're kind of wanted to, we thought the best idea would be to offer this 3-part webinar so that we can bring you through the different stages of that kind of process that we were mapped out kind of logically for you to understand our concept that we've been working and laboring so hard on to birth into the world, to really to come and to meet the challenges of today's for mothers and fathers, because everybody, I suppose the mums are going to be bringing this back to the family, and they're going to be, influencing and informing the whole family dynamic, I guess. So, it's a practical transformational series that will, for the 21st century, Mum. Lisa, would you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think that's right. We have we've laboured so hard to work our way through this process and actually deliver these 3 series to you. And the names, we've been particularly excited with the names of the webinar. So the series is called The Birthing of the Diamond Mother, because it really is the birthing of a new state of mothering on the planet. And we've decided to sort of break it into 3 parts. And just because we're sharing with you the concepts doesn't mean that we're not going to give you some incredible takeaways, because for us, we really value people's times. Like for us too, time is time at the moment, and time is weird at the moment, right?
Yeah,
but it is also precious. And we have a lot of things to do, as mums. We do, right? So for you to come up and for you to trust us with your time, we want to make sure it's really worthwhile for you. So we want to give you takeaways each time, things that you can really apply now and use in the 3 webinars. But the first one is going to be addressing the challenges of the 21st century. So we're going to be talking about the different types of challenges that we're looking at now and why they're really impacting us, and how, some of the things that we can do right now to be able to have a more comforting relationship with our daughter in these moments when we have, sexting and this hookup culture and vaping and, social media until all hours of the night. And these are the body image stuff. Like there's just so many things that our daughters are bombarded with 24/7. So that's the first series. The second series is the diamond in the rough. And this part of the series is the uncovering, that feeling where there must be something better and you can't quite find it. So the second webinar is about that. What is that feeling? And why can't we find it? Why don't we want to find it? What are the obstacles in our way of finding it? So that's the second. And then the third, Carolyn, this is Carolyn's. I'll have to let you share this.
The unique diamond design. So it's, putting the power back into the mothers. It's not about us, kind of telling you what to do. It's putting you back in tune with your own knowing. And so you can design that relationship, that beautiful, unique relationship with your daughter that is just so special and so beautiful and illuminating your both of your lives, so you can sparkle and shine together, because it is a fantastic time for, you know, I mean, society tells us that the teenage years are, you know, are difficult and something that, you know, people kind of have a lot of anxiety around as a parent to go through even the thought of it. But, you know, the truth is, it is a beautiful transformational time for both. And I would say it's definitely, I cannot emphasize enough a time for mums to really kind of use it for their transformation as well, for their kind of deepening their own sense of their own being, and to go back into, you know, to really get in tune with what we're talking about, the playfulness, the creativity that we have kind of lost along the way through that first stage of mothering, when our kids are really small. And it has been tough, you know, I mean, it's hard when having small children, you know, we kind of had lost our freedom, and we had to kind of, we did have to kind of sacrifice an awful lot. Then we get used to that, and then it seems really hard and difficult when they seem to be pulling away from us. But actually, they are pulling away, but that's natural too, because we want them to have that sense of themselves, so that they can feel safe to go out into the world. If you create that beautiful safe space at home, they'll be able to go out and come back to you, and go back out and come back to you. And eventually they'll be able to go out and stand alone in life and do what they're destined to come here to do, because we all have our own, you know, personal, you know, destiny. And our job is, as a parent, to kind of allow that to come to life, to be unfolded for our children. It's not to hold them in fear and not want to let them go. So if we see that, you know, and from my own experience, and Lisa, from yours, like, I mean, it's been an amazing journey since I turned 40 to now, 7 years of a transformational period for myself. And I just have done things I never thought I could do. And I actually feel like I'm getting younger all the time. People keep saying to me, Caroline, you know, how do you look so well for, you know, for your age and whatever. And it's actually this kind of, you know, because I feel so good. I love getting older, and it's like it's like it's getting richer and richer every year, because it's getting more every time. The deeper I go into myself, the more I can, you know, I own my own emotions. I've got into the process, like you talked about, that it's a natural process. But once you learn the tools and the keys and the principles that we're going to be teaching you, it just becomes like nearly second nature to you again. It's like that automatic, you know what to do. You kind of feel, I'm up against a fear here, it's a limitation, I'd love to do this, go here, or start this new business, or these dreams that we've all had, you know, this knowing, this yearning to expand ourselves, to be bigger in the world. And you know, it's actually the overcoming of those fears and those unconscious kind of subconscious conditioning that we just need. That's all it is, those triggers, as people say. But it's not anything that we can't move past and process that undigested emotion that we've had since we were kids. And it's a beautiful process. It can be difficult, but that's why we are here to support you as well, you know, to create a community that's safe for you to have that transformation, that we know we've been through that stage, those stages. We recognize all the signposts along the way, we'll say, and we can really give you kind of that kind of reassurance that, you know, through the process, you will not only have a beautiful, you know, just heartfelt connection with your daughter, that she'll be able to blossom into the world and be, you know, a powerful female leader that can bring the magnificent talents and skills that she has in her truth to the world. And, you know, then also that you can be there to watch that, to enjoy that, and to, you know, have a kind of a new rebirth in your own life too.
It's beautiful. And it's so true, because, you know, Abraham Lincoln said, the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world.
Yeah.
And mothers have a lot more power than what we realize.
Yeah.
We are our daughter's culture. Even though we look out there and say there's this culture that influences her, there's a culture in here. We are that culture. And so we have a lot of power to influence the next generation of women. Like, we really do. We can make a difference to the world, not from us going out and doing something, but because of the relationship we have with our daughter, because she's the one that will go out and do amazing things, you know. And it's so exciting when you think like that. Like, that is so important too. Like, it's so important that we do this work, you know, because it is changing the world and making it a better place, you know, because it needs help. It needs a lot of help.
We need a tsunami. This is what I keep telling everybody. We need a tsunami. We are going to create a tsunami, and we're doing our very best, aren't we, Lisa?
We are
working night and day.
We are literally working night and day. Like, and even the nights are very small at the moment, but yes, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, they're getting closer. Yeah. It's literally like texting and like inspiration, and it's like when I'm walking, I'm getting things, and we are just so alive with this. We're really enjoying it, and we're actually totally stunned by how what is coming. It's just amazing, and I'm so excited. It's great fun. Yeah, we're really enjoying it. It's fantastic.
So Carolyn, I think that we might wrap it up now, but it's been a fantastic talk. You can find information about this. I will put the links down below today on my website, www.iamlisajane.com. That's IAMLISAJAYNE.com, and you'll see the links around to the website. And Carolyn, as well, would you like to give your details to your website, just so they can have a look at you a bit more?
Yeah, it's www.flourishbydesign.co. So I'll have links to there as well, and then our social media accounts as well, Flourish by Design on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah.
So, and if you're interested, on my website there's a free download of 11 essential teachings, so that can give you a little bit of, you know, just a short mini book to read right now if you want to learn more right now. And that will also put you on my mailing list, so we'll be letting you know about the times of the free webinars coming up. So thank you, Carolyn. It's been an absolute joy once again.
Amazing. And Lisa, we're going to be doing this weekly, are we?
We are going to be thank you very much. See, look, we need each other. Every week, same time, same place on YouTube. It is 7 o'clock in the morning in Sydney, and in Dublin it's 8 p.m. the night before. So
and 3 p.m. US. Isn't that right?
Yes, that's right. So it would be 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. on a Thursday. No, on a Wednesday.
Yes.
Get it right, because it's only Thursday, Lisa. It's not Thursday. I think it's Friday today. Yeah. So 3 p.m. UK, 8 Dublin time on a Wednesday, and Sydney Eastern Australian Standard Time, it is 7 a.m. in the morning. But we'll write that later. Don't even try to think about that. Well, I can't think about that. Just confusing the issue. Now we'll end it all. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Amazing to have you all here listening to us. And we're really, really excited to get to know you all and to welcome you into the new webinar series. And I hope you get to know us a little bit more over the next few weeks and enjoy this diamond duo.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks, Carolyn.
Bye.
Speak to you soon.